I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a really fabulous auntie, aren't I, Emily?
Yeah.
I'm also a cousin, and I'm a daughter, and I hope one day to be a grandmother. Not anytime soon, though, probably about 20 years would be good. But I also have a really deep and passionate love for women. I just love them. I love the beautiful essence of a woman's emotional self. I love that she has a duality to her personality that is so deeply gorgeous. I love that on the outside you see, a woman who is as she is, but on the inside there's this essence that swirls up around her. And each of you know what that means. There's a depth of knowing. It's the essence of who you really are. I love that about a woman. Now, don't get me wrong, I really seriously love men as well. I mean, I love men a lot. So, but I love women. I love that they're strong and energetic. I love that they have such passion and such drive, and that they have the ability to overcome all kinds of adversity. And I know, like me, I'm sure I can speak for every single one of you here and say that we've all got a story to tell. And sometimes it's not a great story. And sometimes we identify ourselves with that story. And sometimes that's not such a good idea. So what I'd like to talk to you today about is about owning who you are and getting real and raw with yourself and really embracing every feminine part of who you are, embracing and celebrating your femininity and the strengths that come with that. Before I do that though, is it okay if I tell you a story about myself? Yes? Great, because I'm going to tell you anyway. So, I was adopted when I was about 6 weeks old, and I don't actually remember ever being told. It's just something I grew up with. When I was 8, I remember my younger brother running around the front yard of my cousin's place saying, I'm adopted. I remember telling him to shut up and be quiet because I was embarrassed that we were different, and he didn't even really know what that meant. For me though, it was, you're different. And I really took that on as being something I didn't really want. I remember growing up through my teenage years having an identity crisis. Can anyone here relate to having an identity crisis? Yeah. Mine was tripled, well, so I thought. I compared myself to my friends because they looked like their mothers and they spoke and walked like their mothers. And I really didn't know who I was. I searched the whole world trying to find out who I was. I talked to people. I managed to get a fantastic mentor who was the vice president of our school, and he told me I was damn well great the way I was and to fake it till I made it. And I didn't really understand what he meant by that. I was kind of going to learn that lesson a little bit later on in life. When I was about 20 years old, I found my natural mother and through a fabulous government agency, and we were standing. We agreed to meet at Parramatta train station. Is anyone familiar with Parramatta station? Yeah, not the most fantastic place to meet someone you've dreamt about for 20 years, I can tell you. Not very glamorous at all. So I'm waiting at the station. I've got my entire family waiting my brother's place, because it's such a big deal for our family, because I was the only one who decided to take this journey. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And all my stuff started coming out. Oh my God, she's not coming. She doesn't love me. Maybe she doesn't actually want to meet me. Oh my God, it was terrifying. And I sat there and I sat there and I sat there. And about 10 minutes later, she walked out from underneath the station, because there's two sides to Parramatta Station, and who knew? She was waiting on the other side thinking the exact same things. And as soon as we made eye contact, it was just like, oh my God, it's her. We just went, yeah. So about 5 hours later, and about a year of a relationship later, I realised that she didn't actually really tell me who I was. It was something that I needed to figure out for myself. She didn't complete me. I learned a lot about the circumstances of which I was born, and we certainly had some commonalities, but I didn't know who I was still. And 3 years later, I married the most gorgeous American sailor, beautiful, debonair in his white uniform. And I took all of that stuff that I had unresolved into my marriage. Now, has anyone ever heard about taking the baggage with you and not clearing it up? Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And after 9.5 years of marriage and feeling like a little bird with my wings clipped and really struggling to find my identity, I still hadn't done it. Now, if anyone's had children, you absolutely know what it's like to time, you've got to kind of reinvent yourself or discover who you are if you have children. Well, I went into a very dark place for a very long time until one day, like a bottle of champagne, being shook up, the top burst and I completely lost it, and I left my marriage knowing that that's what I needed to do to find out who I was, because by leaving that situation, it was giving me the freedom to discover what I was. Now, that wasn't the only reason why I left. We had some personality issues, but we won't go there today. I left and I went on this journey, this most miraculous journey to discover who I was. And what I discovered was that everything I do and everything I think about and all the successes that I achieve start from owning who I am and figuring out who it is. So that's what I want to talk